Alright, get out the above view cam for this. Got some various Korgs around, and the Casio SK-1. Fun little 8-bit keyboard. This one, as you can tell by this box on the end here, has been modified. Uses a DB25 port to access the data bus, and this is just a switch matrix. These ones down here control the pitch or speed. These are capacitors, and the rest of these are basically a mod matrix, and it plugs right into the end of the keyboard there. I have a microphone plugged into it for sampling, but let me unplug everything here, including USB power. See, it's still on. Microphone in, line in. This is a Type-C port that charges the internal lithium-ion battery. This is a master power off and on, and audio out. So I just have it jacked the audio out straight into the mixer. And then we're going to plug the microphone back in. This thing's not good at volume level. Oh, I got a guitar pedal wrapped up in it. So the cool part about this keyboard also is on the end here I have another port that's a gate trigger, and this is activating the gate trigger. So let's record a quick sample using a microphone, because getting the internal one's kind of garbage. Now we have our voice sample, right? So if you come down here to record mode, we can play with the sample. That gives us these one key plays, forward and backwards. So there's our whole thing that we recorded. What this does over here is allows me to use like the Volca style triggers, so I can have like a little beat going on a Volca sample, right? But if I click the switch, alright, bad example because there's a gap at the beginning, but let's see what we do. Trumpet. So those are the notes we put in, right? That happens. Not every switch can be a winner, right? And again, with that, the envelope select works too, so you can choose. All your different envelopes. So basically, external trigger off, external trigger on, triggers an internal sequencer. And again, we have the mod matrix, which is just crazy. Let me pick some bass over here on the good old monologue. something a little. Something with like a classic vibe to it, right? It's like the drone switch. So what's happening here in the switch matrix is the data bus that is between the three EEPROMs inside this unit and this port is being interrupted, and these are literally wired randomly inside. They're just groupings of, some of them connect to ground, some connect to data bus, and basically this is a sealed box. I mean, I super glued the sucker shut. Point was never to open it again. It just is what it is. This is an instrument on its own that happens to hook to this instrument and make it crazy. I think that switch, depends on the patch, can kill it pretty quick. But nothing here could damage it. Comes right back. It killed it again. No big deal. Comes right back. So, those are the basic mods, right? You get the piano sound, the brass ensemble. Four-note polyphony. That's 4. That's on all the sounds. Trumpet, flute, human voice. synth drums. It's just one sound, really. It's thing. Pipe organ. I like that sound. It sounds good. You have a lot of fun with it. Jazz organ being the last one. It's like a Hammond. Turn on vibrato, you get that nice. Rotary speaker effect. It's got built-in music. We gotta reset it for that. Fun stuff. I wanted to keep it as close to original looking for the unit as I could. This is battery charging, or battery needs charged, battery fully charged. So right now it's fully charged. This thing will run for days and probably a week or more on the 2000 milliamp hour 18650 inside. Speaking of though, why don't we take a look? Super easy to take it apart. Turn the switch off on the back. The mod box just pulls away. Have that disconnected. There's the mod port. Well, this is the boring part, so let's go ahead and fire up that beat. There we go. I dropped a screw. There's the cover. And underneath of it, we've got a mess. So these are the data lines over here. ROM chip 1, 2, and 3. And you can see where I tapped the lines. I put some hot glue on there just so that these wires don't pull on the connections ever. Generally they'll be fine. But there's just enough space to get that connector down in that area right there. Big connector. This capacitor was up here. I moved it down there. It's not really, it could have just been omitted with the way the power system on this works, but the 18650 sits there. There's a charger that's taking the 5 volts in from the USB Type-C port right there, which is where the original power port used to be. I simply desoldered the original one off the board. It goes to my power converter board, puts out 7.8 volts DC back to the board here. 7.5 is the original spec. These tend to drop down, so I just ran it a little high. This little, what are you, a 2N2209, I think, transistor is on the, it's hard to see with the glue, but there's pin here, the notch, flat side is facing the PCB, with the leftmost pin on the leftmost peg, skip one, this pin on the inside leg, and then the blue or purple wire here has a 5K4 resistor on it that's going over here to the 3.5-inch input jack, which is the trigger. That goes to this switch, and this green wire goes back to the LED to show when that transistor fires. So that LED that's there is connected to the firing of the transistor. Ground point was here, where the headphone port is. I could have picked any ground point. I just picked that one because I was lazy, and it was there. So that's the extent of the mods. Like, everything else underneath here is all original. I did put some deoxit in the switches and things on the other side of this PCB. Pulled all the membranes out, cleaned them, that kind of thing. And this was a, I think I paid $8 for this at Goodwill. The keys, as you see, all sit at different heights and stuff. They're very beat up, but at the same time, it's very not worth really fixing it. It works just fine. I see no reason to attempt to repair anything in there or mess with it in any way, because it just works, and it works good. The original speaker is pretty crap, but it works. There's just not much to it. This is the main processor that does everything right here. So experiment with the data lines. This is where you mod this. There's a ground. Some of them could be shunted to ground just fine, or to each other just fine. You will not damage the ROMs. Any combination works. Here's a variable capacitor for the original tuning. That also goes to the port here, and that's what these 4 switches do. When this switch is in this position, it's on the original tuning. Here, there's no capacitor. Small cap, medium cap, big cap. Bigger the cap, slower it goes. That's all that's doing. It's just kind of a speed mod. A really rudimentary one at that. Again, without doing any kind of mods to make the clock different or anything like that. This thing has an internal clock. We're just, you see the clock lines here. We're just changing the capacitance on the clock lines, which in an oscillator, electronic oscillator, the capacitance sets the frequency. So by changing the capacitance, we change the frequency a little bit, change the pitch. That's all we're doing. So it's a pretty simple overall mod. Minimally invasive. You can be as invasive as you want to be. I've seen these with holes, draw speakers removed and all that. I kind of like the speaker. I'll take this thing with me sometimes. It's got an internal microphone for sampling, speaker. I can hook the output to my phone and record if I really want to get, you know, something crazy going on. But all these synths, the little Volcas, portable. The Monologue, totally portable. And when I take them places, I just use a Bluetooth speaker with an aux input and one of the little mixers. Got this guy around. Takes 5-volt DC, little mixer. But at the same time, 6 channels on this one. Plenty. So there's a lot you could do to keep it portable, keep it small, and just make it last. By having a lithium battery in it, I don't have to worry about powering it, because this thing's got days and days of runtime. And I'll never have to put 5 AA's in it ever again. You see the original battery wires are just cut. Completely unnecessary. Just gutted them. And it's not that hard to get inside of it. So if you take your time, have some fun. Like I said, I know everybody's a bit crazy to me. This is 3D printed. These are just single pole, double throw switches. None of them are wired to do 2, so it's all just either on or off. It's kind of a matrix. A lot of the wires go multiple places inside. Like I said, there's no reason to show how this is wired, because I don't know how this is wired. That was the whole point, was it needed to be random to be fun for me. So, random it is. But, yeah, this is one of many little circuit bends and mods I have. I can show you another one real quick here. It's just off to the side. Is the Caliphone. This is a Cardmaster Series 2000. If I grab one of these cards, I was going to record it over. This one. Hurt. It's just the word hurt, right? These have a battery compartment. Inside the battery compartment, there's a speed switch, half standard. Standard speed is wired up normally. Half speed, I put a variable potentiometer on. This is a 5000K. So when you flip this switch that way, it goes to the half speed, which now the speed is controlled by this potentiometer. Hurt. Hurt. So you could get some crazy variable speed with it. And you can record your own samples on it too, and just do whatever you want. And you can record your own samples on it too, and just do whatever you want. Own samples record your own samples on it too. Samples on it too, and just do whatever you want. So the key is, don't be afraid to try it. I know that's been said on the internet before, but it's so true. Get out there, have some fun.